Hospital Porter's pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. Well, I'm in Oxford actually, in West Oxford, Botley. Out there is Osney Island. If you remember, that's where I did my first HPANWO TV film about St Helena there. The river, as you can see, flowing very fast. That's the River Isis or Thames. And I wouldn't try going swimming in there today. Anyway, I'm off on another adventure. Just a little one this time, but at least it's an adventure of some kind. I'll just explain a little bit about where I'm going. And so this is the news article that someone sent me. My goodness me, we've got a monolith. I can't believe Oxford has a monolith. Somehow I never believed that Oxford would get a monolith. It just somehow doesn't fit. I don't know why. It's amazing. Anyway, this is, as you see, is the article here. Monolith Mysteries, alien quote-unquote column appears in a flooded Oxford Park. Yeah. I swear I had nothing to do with this. I bet loads of people are going to point the finger and said, you put it there, Ben. It's just like when one appeared on the Isle of Wight. Everyone blamed David Icke for it. But honestly, I had no idea. I had nothing to do with this. It says here, walkers stretching their legs on New Year's Day were left rubbing their eyes after a mysterious monolith appeared in a flooded Oxford Park. The enigmatic object appeared to have popped up overnight in Oaklands Park in West Oxford. It follows the appearance of a similar monolith around the world, starting in early November with a steel structure in a remote area of the American state of Utah. Yes, and it goes on to explain a little bit of the background to them, which of course I've covered in the videos. I'll put a link in the description box to my previous monolith videos. Okay. Among those scratching their head over the origins of the pillar in deep water just off Botley Road was DJ Dominic Utton, who lives nearby. He said, it definitely wasn't there on New Year's Eve, so it must have arrived overnight. It's out in the middle of a flooded field, too far and too deep to get to with wellies, so whoever did it must have had a boat. From what you can see from the dry land, it's about 6 feet tall out of the water, so maybe 9 feet altogether. It's a tall rectangular shape and silverish, and it's made of aluminium. Like it's made of aluminium. I see. I was going to actually ask, how do you know it was made of aluminium? But it's like it is, and to be honest, it does look that way. I mean, it has this kind of like strange, sort of dappled marking. The Romania one had that as well. It's like stress patterns on the metal. But it's a good question. How did they get it there, and why? It's really, and then he goes on to make the comment. I'm going to read out the comment in a minute, but it doesn't beg the question: how did they put the foundations in? How did they secure it? I mean, well, if it is still secure, it may have fallen over and sunk. I don't know, but in which case, when the floodwaters recede, we'll find it lying on the park, on the grass, in the mud, which will be mud by then. So what on earth, or how? From what I can see, it appears to be the same basic shape and consistency of the other monoliths that have appeared. Metallic, upright, square edges, things like that. Whether it's a prism or an oblong, I don't know. But we'll find out, actually, because I'm going to go there. I'm actually going to head there now and see if I can see and have a look at it, if it's still there, because I'm actually recording this on the evening of the 2nd of January, the day after New Year's Day. And as we know, these monoliths have a habit of disappearing. They've taken people's souvenir hunters, environmentalists, Christians. Although the Christians we have in Oxford are a little bit more sort of meek and mild compared to the ones you get in America. But you never know. So I'm going to go there hoping it's still there. Here under this railway bridge in Oxford, and I came across this brilliant poster. They lie, we buy. Brilliant, fantastic. Oaklands Road. Okay, I'm on the right spot. I've got to go down here. I should point out, actually, it's really, really a great feeling to get out and about, to go somewhere which is not work. I mean, we're in tier 4 at the moment. So, I can always just say this is part of my Boris's one a day, so I'm just getting my exercise. Which is true. I just walked from home. Still got that hospital portering spirit in me. Now, the reason I'm here, as I've just explained, is that Oxford has a monolith, or had. I don't know, it was there on New Year's Day morning. It's now January the 3rd, 2 days later. And I'm quite curious to see if it's still there, because they tend to not last long, these monoliths. But
We're nearly there now, so in a few minutes I'll be able to see for myself where it is. We're approaching the Cortlands Recreation, the Oatlands Recreation Ground, which is where this thing was placed by whoever or whatever. And I can already see there's floodwater there. Now, this is almost an annual tradition in Oxford, actually. You get big floods. So if there's raindrops on a lens, it's actually raining at the moment. You get these big, you get like the river Isis burst its banks. They're actually planting trees to try and stop it. But this is the place where it is. This is normally, it looks like a lake. It's normally a recreation ground. But at the moment, it's flooded. Now then, let's have a look. I see lots of ducks and things. I'll keep a look around here to see what's there. You see the flood in here, can't you? I think we're about at the angle where the photograph in the papers was taken by Dominic Hutton, so we're in about the right location, and it's gone. Yes, the monolith has gone. That's a shame. I was hoping to get a HPANWO TV exclusive image of a monolith, and it's not there. This is basically where, the, yeah, I recognise you may recognise from the photograph, these are the background, there's those recreation equipment, there's the pylon. So this is kind of like a reproduction of that particular shot, and it's gone. That's a shame. I don't know who took it. It may not be the Christians. I mean, the thing about Oxford Christians is, I think I've already made this point in the studio work, but they're much more cuddly and mild than the ones you get in America. So it's probably not them. It's possible, actually, that it's out there, but it's fallen over. And when you think about it, it would. If you think about it, getting it. How do they get it in there? I mean, this is the important point. It would have to be secured with foundations. And how would those foundations actually be secured? Firstly, you'd have to wade out there. I mean, you can see from the mud that this floodwater comes up very high. It was probably even higher actually on New Year, because it's gone down. It's gone down slightly in other areas of the city, which means it may have come up to this path originally. You see, but it makes you wonder. I mean, did they have some kind of boat? Did they have a boat? Waders would probably do the trick. I mean, you couldn't get there with Wellingtons. Someone actually said in the article it's too deep to go there with Wellingtons, so it comes above the calf. I mean, somebody said it was 3 feet deep, in which case you'd need some kind of boat probably. But how would you secure it in place? I mean, it's possible they didn't secure it in place, which is why it's fallen over. But why put it in the middle of a flooded park? Why put it in the middle of a flood? It's raining now. The sun's coming out. It's actually raining lightly. Why put it in the middle of a flooded park? I'm going to start walking now because I have to go to work now. It is actually about 9:30. I'm only working 4 hours a day at the moment. It's more than most people are. It's 7 days a week at least. But I just thought to myself, maybe they just shoved it there. Maybe it is something made of cardboard and aluminium. It just lasted, like, in the morning people saw it and then it vanished because it just basically fell over because the cardboard got wet and things like that. It just fell over. It may be out there now lying under the floodwater on its side, and when the floodwater recedes, which will probably sometime in April, I'll be able to come back and it may still, the remains of it might still be lying there. It all depends on what it's made of. If it's made of cardboard covered with foil, as some of them are, then it's probably not going to last very long. It'll very quickly turn to mush, and you'll just find a big loads of scrap foil lying there. Unless it's more robust and it's actually made out of some kind of steel or iron or aluminium or something, then it will last longer. This was the most recent of many that have appeared all over the world. And it does seem to be some kind of real-life meme that has emerged. And I predicted this would happen. I said this would probably happen at some point. We would end up with lots of people making them just for the hell of it, just for fun. It would become a kind of Yeah, like a viral meme. Yeah, they are like the 2-button meme or the Pepe meme or these other things that just gets repeated and repeated over and over again by many, many people. And sometimes these things happen in real life. And I explain this in more detail in my background videos, which I'll put links to in the description box. But there's like there are kind of there's Trump statues. Remember there was a craze. I wonder if I'll get down here. There's like a little footpath. I could go back up to the Botley Road, but I don't want to do that actually because I want to be able to keep filming. I'd have to stop filming on the Botley Road because it's too noisy. But there were these statues kept appearing of Donald Trump naked, and this was just after he became president. And one appeared, obviously, but then suddenly loads of them started popping up everywhere. It was like a kind of a craze, and these statues were just like all over the place. I mean, and obviously it wasn't the work of one person. It was kind of a copycat. A copycat. Many people, anyone who had the skills to make a statue like that, thought, well, I'm going to do it. I want to get mine in the newspapers, and I'm going to put my naked Trump statue. So they'd make the statue and put it somewhere near where they lived, and these went all over the world, at least all over the United States. And I think this is something similar. When it was actually a friend of mine, Jay, he first made me aware of this. And I thought, well, Oxford's got its own monolith. I thought, finally, somehow I never thought we'd get one. I never thought one would appear here in Oxford. But it did. And it's a shame it's not there now, but at least it was here. I mean, I was sort of half expecting it not to last, because they don't last very long, unfortunately. If the Christians don't get them, then someone else will. Souvenir hunters, environmentalists, like the one in Utah. The one in Utah was taken down by environmentalists. Not because, I'm on to Osney. I'm going on to Osney again. Yeah. Time for a St. Helena moment? No. Because, of course, the people, the environmentalists were concerned not for the monolith itself. It's not exactly a septic tank, is it? Or a tank of radioactive waste. But the environmental impact would come from people visiting it. Because people go into this very delicate desert ecology, and of course some of them would drop litter. It's inevitable they'd make a mess, some of them. And so they removed the monolith because they were concerned about that. Turned out there weren't bones in it, as I predicted. But I did predict there'd be more of them. I did predict it would be a craze, and it has become that. Who knows, Oxford might get another one. Which way do I go here? This is kind of like I think it's that way. It's lovely this, isn't it? Lovely this area. Osney Island. It's our own little St. Helena here in Oxford. And so that's probably what it is. I mean, when Jay told me about this, I shared it all over social media, and I put the little tagline, hashtag Oxford Monolith. I swear I had nothing to do with it. Because so many people would think it was me. They think it's in Oxford, it's got to be Ben's work. But honestly, it was not my doing. I had nothing to do with it. Of course, I've read the comments out. I've already read the comments section out, which I'll show you in a minute. But I did that last night. So what you'll be seeing in a minute is what I've already done. But I kind of we're getting near Botley Road now. May get a bit noisy, but it's quite funny that the people are saying this stuff came up about aliens, and of course that was an interesting spin on things, that they brought up the aliens, and I couldn't help thinking that the Utah monolith might actually be something that was left there by extraterrestrials. Of course, it wasn't. No one knows who made it. Still people are wondering, some people are questioning. No one's confessed, no one's been exposed. It still is an anonymous work of art that's been there for a long time, for 5 years plus. But that was always when something like that appears, when something anonymous appears. It's the same with the crop circles. The question inevitably comes up. And the fact that question is even raised is a healthy sign, whether or not it's true. And of course, in the case of the monolith, it's probably not true. In the case of the crop circles, I think it's partly true. The crop circles, despite many decades now, crop circles appearing, there's still a bit there. The question mark over their origin still remains, despite claims to the contrary. That is fact. You get over there, you get onto Botley Road if you go over that little bridge. So we're going to carry on down this way now. I'm going to walk along the river work where I got my first job today. And then it's much nicer. I've actually got to my destination quicker than I thought, which is good. I'm still fit, you know. I'm still fit. Portering fit, man. Portering fit. And I just remember thinking to myself, you know, it would be kind of ironic if one of the monoliths, ones that came later, the copycat ones, what if just one of them actually was made by aliens? What if that was actually put there by aliens here in Oxford? That would be a strange turn of affairs, wouldn't it? It'd be a very odd occurrence. We'll go along this fast-moving river now. Be very careful not to fall in, of course. I thought that would be ironic if it turned out that they found one that actually was made by aliens. Who knows? I'm now going to walk along this river till I get to work. It's kind of... I suppose it's possible that a flying saucer swooped down soon after that photograph was taken and took the monolith, maybe. Or maybe someone was so determined to get hold of it they didn't care wading out there to grab it. I don't know. Or maybe it has just simply fallen over because it's made of cardboard and it just pulped. And it's just fallen over and pulped in the water. In which case, why erect it in the middle of the flood? Why not put it on dry land? And there is still dry land in Oxford, believe it or not. Why not just put it on dry land? It's one of these mysteries, I suppose, that's going to linger about what you do. Because it would, of course, unless they wanted to put it somewhere where they thought people wouldn't remove it. So they're putting it in the middle of the flood. They thought, well, they strapped their waders on, or they got in their little rubber boat, paddled out there, and thought, well, at least this one will last a while because no one's going to go out there. No one's going to go and get it. Maybe they deliberately chose the middle of the flood for that reason, so that it would last longer, which hasn't worked, unfortunately. They underestimated the determination of the people who take them down. I've not heard of one that's actually lasted more than a few days. Someone always comes along and snatches them. It's a shame, really. That's a shame, actually. That is sad. It's sad that happens. But there you are. Unless, like I say, a flying saucer swooped down at night and plucked it up. Who knows? But it is similar to the crop circles in that sense. It is a kind of a landscape art which is anonymous landscape art, which of course, like the crop circles, some people are claiming extraterrestrial involvement. So anyway, let's just read some of the comments on the article, because some of the comments are actually quite interesting.
So let's explore some of the comments that people have left on the article. And we'll start with this one by Dominic Utton. Now, Dominic Utton is the photographer who took this image. I hope he doesn't mind me putting it in here. Fair use and all that sort of thing. But he says, whatever it is, and whoever did it, I think it's him saying this anyway. Whatever it is, and whoever did it, it's very cool. Just how they did it is amazing in itself. Out in the middle of a flooded field, in the dark, and freezing cold on New Year's Eve of all nights. It's got everyone around here stumped. But then, like Sherlock Holmes said, once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. So I reckon the only rational explanation is that it's definitely alien technology. Well, that remains to be seen. But I like the quote from Sherlock Holmes. Of course, the skeptics hate it. They say, the skeptics sort of say, once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, so long as it's a non-ET, non-paranormal explanation, you have to say is the truth, even if it's not. It's an adaptation for the skeptics there. But there's been lots of other comments on here. That's very interesting now. One said, this guy here, CB, said, must have avoided the new Brexit controls. Do you think flying saucers are bothered by that if Romanian lorry drivers are not? And Wagler says, the Do As You Likes will have melted down when the rock up for their annual stayover. I think that's a band. Would have that melted down when the rock up for their when they rock up for their annual stayover. I think it's a band. And Sphinx Sam says, it's sad that rather than being an ignorant comment from an ignorant person, it's a reasonable prediction that an observant person would make. All right. Landvark says, I'm more baffled by how you can stretch your legs, rub your eyes and scratch your head at the same time. God, let me just try that. I could do it. I've just done it. Gordon the Gopher 78 says, we're all doomed. Polytunnel says, no news day again. Oh, well, to be honest, the Oxford Mail does sort of like to... It can't think of anything else to write. It just writes whatever comes up the top of their head, but I don't think that's fair in this case. Emskanin says, I hope the aliens kept 2 meters apart and washed their hands. Vocuman says, would that be the gas meter and an electricity meter? I don't get that. Ensha Morris, Emskin could be a North American. No excuse there, however. On the that's a spelling mistake. I said here. DJ Amanda, love it. Ding Dong 49. I'll pop my one up when it's froggy next time. Oh, when it's foggy next time. Oh right, so someone else is planning to put up another monolith. Boxfish says, these are appearing all over the world. It's a new form of graffiti. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like. That's what I always thought. It just seemed to be that way. See earlier Oxford Mail article, 7th of December. Magical monolith appears on the Isle of Wight beach as mystery continues. That's right. Guardian, 8th of December. Mystery of the monoliths. If only it were aliens. Metro, January the 1st, 2021. Mystery monolith makes surprise appearance in Toronto as Canada celebrates New Year. Boxfish is right. This isn't just... It's a kind of craze, a real-life meme that I predicted would happen. Once the Utah one was discovered. The Utah was the original. That's, yeah. I saw you coming, said, too many aliens in this city as it is. Right, I think they're referring to immigration, however, perhaps we could interpret it more literally in terms of the extraterrestrial aliens. I mean, I'm sure the Chancellor of the university has a bit of a reptilian look to him. Yeah. Level the Score says, I guess they got bored making crop circles. Funnily enough, you know, there's some truth to that. It's a bit cynical, but these monoliths you can do all year round. And they are similar in many ways. They're sort of a mystery thing people put there. Some people think they're aliens. The difference, I think, is that there is some doubt. There's some significant doubt about the origins of crop circles. The man-made hypothesis does not explain the entire phenomenon. From what I've seen so far, it does for the monoliths. I could be wrong, but it does so far. Oxford Mail Reader. Interesting name. Available from John Lewis at the Westgate. Oh, are they? I know they're selling them in some other shops for about 400 quid. Father Jack, the reason we need fake monoliths is all down to Trustpilot. Earth mostly water, 1 star. This is why real aliens don't visit. I don't see what that's got to do with anything. I don't know what Trustpilot is. Is that some new thing I'm not into? Jewel says, yeah, I think it's super cool. Imagine boating out in floodwater and getting it to stay in. Must have taken some effort because the current will pull it different ways. A bit like tagging, but better on the eye. It is curious. They obviously went to some effort they must have had waders or a boat of some kind, yeah. And then someone else corrects the Oxford Mail on their spelling. Probably a 6G telecoms mast. Oh my god. maybe it's even a coffin. You know, like I said, the first Utah monolith might be some kind of avant-garde coffin, and they'd find bones inside it. I wonder what they'll find inside this one if they pull it down. We shall see. But by the time I'm recording this, actually, I haven't actually been there yet, so I don't even know if it's still there.
So, I'm very sorry I couldn't show you the Oxford Monolith. I literally came here, this literally yesterday evening I heard about it. So, literally I've came as quickly as I could. I even decided to come before work. I was going to go after work, get to go down on the bus after work. But then I couldn't do that because it was the Mindset podcast, which I'm doing this afternoon. Tune into the mindsetcentral.com if you want to hear that. But also, I thought, well, how long is it going to be there? I want to get there as quickly as I can, because maybe it'll be there tomorrow morning, then it'll disappear during the day. I'll miss that opportunity. So I wanted to get here as quickly as possible for that reason. So again, that's just simply the reason I came here as quickly as I could. I'm sorry I couldn't get there sooner so I could show you it. Maybe another monolith will appear in Oxford, in which case I will go and show you that one if I can. But in the meantime, the lesson I think we can take for this, I mean, there's a lot more I can add actually that I haven't already said in other installments of this series of videos on the monoliths. So I'll put links in the description box to all of those. But I just get over the weir now. It's a bit noisy, as you can see. It's coming off Oseney now. I wouldn't want to go swimming in that. So I suppose, as I said in previous installments, I think possibly the positive thing that comes out of this is that even if every single one of these is a man-made artifact, which I suspect it is, just artists and people like that putting one up everywhere. One appeared in the Shetland Islands, the Shetland. Don't know what Stuart Hill thinks of that. One's appeared in the Isle of Wight. David Icke wasn't to blame for that, by the way. Even if that's all they are, then it indicates there is an increasing level of awareness and acceptance of the extraterrestrial hypothesis, that we are not alone. That seems to be now becoming more acceptable. As I said in my UFO disclosure videos, it's past the dinner table challenge now. And the very fact that people even entertain the idea of that origin for these particular objects is a positive sign. And for that reason, I think it gives me hope. It really does. And here we are, very, rather wet, overflowing, and slightly chilly at Oxford. It's actually, yeah. I should point out actually before I go, it's actually not a bit warmer this morning. It's actually been quite cold the last few days. We've had some ice. A lot of the country's had snow, which leads me to think actually that maybe COP26 has been cancelled this year. So we're not going to get COP26 in November, because I think if it was, then we would have extreme weather. They would engineer extreme weather to falsely make the point that man-made climate change is real. I'm going to walk to work now. I should point out, you probably noticed this actually, and I've actually noticed it now. People, other people tend to notice these things before you do, but I put on a lot of weight, massive amount. It's almost just not quite as bad, but it still reminds me of when I got first kicked out of hospital portrait and I ballooned out. I don't weigh myself regularly, so I don't know exactly how much I put on, but I put on weight. And I don't think I'm alone there. But I looked at myself in the mirror yesterday and I thought, you fat bastard. It just suddenly dawned on me. Hello. It's morning. It suddenly dawned on me, you know. And of course it's to be expected. I'm only working 4 hours a day. And when you're stuck in the lockdown, it's always tempting just to relieve. I'm sure I'm not the only one in this position to relieve the boredom by, say, eating something nice. It's a way of, it's a way of breaking up the day. I'm surely not the only one in that position who's piled on a bit of pork over the last few months. It's not permanent, of course. I will, hopefully I'll get back to my normal working hours at some point. We'll see. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, from the alien or not so alien invaded Oxford here, thank you once again for watching HPANWO TV. There's another video coming soon. Keep your eye on the channel. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.